Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Create, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another fall card for you from my fall card series. So today I will be using this background stamp from Simon Says Stamp, and this is the Floral Mix background. And I'm going to be stamping it on some watercolor paper and watercoloring up this image. So I'm just going ahead and getting everything set up. And I'm using my stamp platform for this. And I've actually never used a background stamp like this, so this was my first time using it. I really love the flowers in this background stamp, so I'm just using a Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink to stamp this. And I stamped it a few times because I could not see what I was stamping, obviously, because it is clear, and I wanted the image to be there, because what I'm going to be doing after it's all stamped is adding some white embossing powder and using the heat tool to melt that, and then that creates a great area for watercoloring, and the white from the embossing powder just adds the outline, and it's a great way to watercolor as your colors kind of stay within those wells of the embossing powder. So here I'm using the Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder, just making sure I get on all of the areas, and there you can start to kind of see the image coming through as the embossing powder goes on. So fun. And then I used my heat tool, as I was saying, to melt all that powder. This also kind of gives your watercoloring a bit of a shiny look with the embossing powder. And yeah, it took me quite a while to make sure that all the areas were heated up and melted, but you definitely don't want to miss a spot. So there it is. And then I will be using these watercolors that I have in my collection. And so I'm going to go ahead and put some music on while I do the watercoloring, because it was very time consuming but very fun, and I hope you find this part of the video relaxing, and I will talk to you in a little bit. Alright, so now that the watercoloring is all done, I decided to cut this background in half to create 2 cards actually. So I'm just cutting down the edges, making sure everything is straight, and then I'm going to cut this panel in 2, just using my paper cutter there. And then I grabbed 2 card bases and just seeing how everything's going to work, and then using my advanced tape glider to adhere the background that I watercolored on here. What is your favorite adhesive? Do you like using the advanced tape glider, or do you have another go-to adhesive? I always seem to use the advanced tape glider, and the Xyron sticker maker are my go-tos. I get into fights with liquid glue all the time. So I'm going to be using these vellum fall, I guess, scrapbook papers that I had in my collection, and I felt like they needed to be used. I've had them for a while, and I thought that they would be the perfect addition to these backgrounds and the fall themed card. Just using my paper cutter to trim these few sentiments out that I wanted to use. Definitely could have just cut them out with scissors, but that worked too. And then I just went ahead and used my Memento Tuxedo black ink to sponge some black around the edges of the card bases, just to kind of add a little bit more color and a little more interest, as they were just plain white, and that's totally fine, but I just felt like it needed something. And for before I added these sentiments on, I decided to go in with the Wink of Stella pen, which was the clear one, just to add a little bit of sparkle. And you definitely need to be careful with this when you have watercolored, because the color can reactivate. And I noticed that if I went from a blue, like a darker color, to a lighter color, the colors kind of mixed. So what I was doing was just dabbing the color off on the side and going darkest and then doing the lights last. But it definitely added a fun element to the card and made it a little bit more sparkly, and yeah. So then I used the advanced tape glider to adhere the vellum to the cards here, and this one is Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. So I thought that was appropriate since it was flowers and fall colors. So yeah, some people, I don't know, I've heard a lot of people don't like using this kind of adhesive for their cards, but whatever you feel like using, whatever you're comfortable with. And that is going to finish off the cards for today. I hope you liked this, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and come back next time because I have more cards coming your way. Thank you so much. Bye.